Seriously?
Hey, and welcome to this wishlist video with myself, 6 Plus Stevo. So the hype train is in full effect. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I've been covering the news, I've been getting hyped up, looking at them awesome looking Beast Snaggas, and I think GW are gearing up to reveal a lot more soon. I think we're going to get some concrete details of statistics and showcasing more of the miniatures and quite possibly the codex itself and maybe even a release date. So I've been planning to do one of these wishlist videos for a little while now, ever since, ever since 9th edition came out really, and we knew we were going to get a 9th edition codex. And so, yeah, I think the clock is ticking, time's running out, so it's kind of now or never, because if you've been keeping an eye on the Warhammer community site, they've been revealing little tidbits of information. They've got a big reveal coming up in just a few days, where they're going to be revealing all sorts, and I suspect in amongst all that news will be news covering the Orks. And so yeah, without further ado, let's get into my wish list video for the 9th edition Ork Codex. I'm not going to go into everything. I'm just going to sort of pick off the sort of top things in my list of what I want to see in this codex. Yeah, put it out there to you guys and see what you think. Be sure, guys, throughout the video, after the video, share your wish lists down in the comment section below. See if you agree with me, if you want the same things as me, other ideas and things that you want to see within the codex itself. But yeah, let's get on with it. First thing I want to see, that I think we are going to see, is the return of the mega armored warboss. It was ridiculous of GW to take it out of the codex in the first place. It was absolutely nuts. Before all the defenders of GW rushed to their keyboards, yes, I am aware that their policy of not having rules if they don't have a miniature, but I hate that policy. I know there's reasons for it. I know you can lay out logical reasons for it and sensible business related reasons for it, and even reasons as to, you know, it's not great for newcomers. If they've got rules, then they can't buy the miniature for it, etc, etc. I don't care. Just keep the rules in there. All right, keep the rules in there. But rant aside, we saw within the artwork of the Beast Snagga reveal a rather interesting picture of a mega armored warboss, the one with the Grot on the shoulders with the shooter, and that's a pretty damn strong indication that GW are indeed planning to release a new mega armored warboss. And so yeah, I not only is it a wish list, a hope and a dream, I think it's a prediction. I think we're going to get one, and that's going to be absolutely amazing, because it makes sense, doesn't it? You know, what sort of bad moon Ork warboss is going to allow his knobs to stroll around in mega armor and have all the best gear, and he's just going to be there in the bog standard heavy armor, you know, with a 4+ save? That's not going to happen, is it? So yeah, I think that'll be an amazing thing if we get that miniature. And the rules that go with it, it's just going to be awesome. I don't think GW do things by mistake. I've had some people saying that, well, no, it's just artwork, it's just a picture. It doesn't necessarily confirm or mean that we're going to get a miniature. That may be the case, although I would think that was highly unlikely. I think they put a lot of effort into the marketing and things of these things, and everything is thought about. So I think that was a way to tease the audience and say, look what you're getting. So yeah, that's the first one, mega armored warboss, and I'm sure many of you will agree. Next one I want, we'll continue on the ranting. We'll get all the negatives out of the way first, shall we? This is supposed to be a positive video after all, but I can't help myself because some of these, some of these things. Cheaper grots. When we had the big points increase across the whole of 40k, grots were hit savagely with a 66% point increase. They jumped from 3 points a grot to 5 points a grot. Again, I've had people try and justify this to me. You're really clutching at straws if you think 5 points is a fair cost for a grot. Yeah, I've also had people say that no, keep them at 5 points but make them better. I disagree. I like the fact that grots are incredibly weak and virtually useless, although they are surprisingly dangerous in large numbers, don't you know? I've won so many games with grots because of grots, holding objectives and things, distracting people, board control, denying deep strike and things like that. They're just such a useful unit, but in straight up combat they're like one of the weakest units in the game. And I just love that you don't put them in because they're strong and powerful and because they're going to do much. You put them in because they're fun, they're characterful, and they're useful in filling out your bodies on the battlefield at a really cheap cost. But when you've got an Ork boy at 8 points, it's really hard to justify spending 5 points on a grot. You'd rather just spend the extra 3 points and have an Ork boy, wouldn't you? He's just better in absolutely every single way, except for ballistic skill. Yeah, I think if GW meet us halfway and drop to 4 points, at least then a grot is half the points of an Ork. And now you've got a decision to make when you're choosing your troops. I can have a squad of 10 boys for 80 points, or I can have I can have 2 squads of 10, or a squad of 20 grots for the same cost. So yeah, look, there's the negative stuff out of the way anyway. Not really negative, they're just wish list, but I had to get in my little rants about them. But yeah, next thing I would love to see is improved psychic powers. Currently, the big one that everyone uses, myself included, is of course the jump. The jump's awesome, and it's kind of become a must take for most Ork armies. It's an incredibly powerful psychic ability, and it makes a huge impact on the game. The same can't be said for most of the other psychic powers, and it's a shame because as cool as the jump is, I would like to be able to mix it up a little bit more. I really would. I've been using the Bad Moon specific one, the Gleaming Gear, quite a bit. I've been upgrading to a Warp Head, so I use him with the jump and Gleaming Gear. That extra +1 on the armor save to certain units is really good. But yeah, a lot of the other ones, they're, you may take them as well as the jump, but you're not going to take many of them instead of the jump, unless you're going for fluff and fun. But things like Roar of Mork, a -1 to enemies leadership, it's only going to be effective against certain factions, and it's just not great. Things like the Crunch is alright, but it's usually in most scenarios not as good as Smite. Smite's usually just better than the Crunch. Yeah, so I think I don't think jump should go anywhere. The jump's awesome and I love it. But I think some of the other psychic powers should be elevated a bit. There should be a little bit more balance between the psychic powers. And just, make them a bit more powerful, a bit more potent, perhaps a bit more risky. But just make them more interesting and make it a choice for us. It's never good when you've got a selection of things to choose from and it's just the obvious choice, because that's what you're always going to pick, and it makes for quite bland games eventually because everyone always chooses the same thing and it becomes very predictable. If they're all a bit more equally balanced and useful in their own way, you've got decisions to make and you've got choices to make, and that makes it more fun for you. It makes it more unpredictable for your opponent. It just makes for a more fun game. So yeah, psychic powers, buff some of the existing ones or add new, more interesting ones. so that not every Ork player in every game takes the jump. Don't nerf the jump though. We love the jump. We still want to keep it. This is not a wish list asking for you to nerf the jump. On a similar tangent, clan traits. I believe this is going to happen. A lot of the other codexes for other factions, their equivalents have changed quite drastically in a lot of cases. I think we're subject to getting a lot of changes. I think a lot of Ork players, depend on what clan you play, don't get. I would advise to not get too comfortable with the clan trait you've currently got. I may not be re-rolling those ones anymore for bad moons. Death Skulls, you may not get like the lashings and lashings of buffs that you get from your clan traits. I think they're going to change, but I also hope that there's a lot more, again, balance with them, because there's a clear hierarchy of clan traits. We've got Death Skulls at the top. We've then got like Evil Suns and Bad Moons. They're like the three clear victors in the Codex in terms of clan traits. And then we've got like the Blood Axes, which aren't terrible. They're okay, but and then things like Snake Bites, which, Snake Bites, they get the what do they get? They get the feel no pain, don't they, to represent their tough, burly nature, which is cool. But when you compare them to Death Skulls, who get the invulnerable saves, the this is ours Zog off, and the tons of rerolls they get, it's just absurd that how unbalanced Snake Bites are to Death Skulls. So we need to balance that out a bit. I think perhaps we need to bring Death Skulls maybe just down a little bit, and then we need to like elevate others up to the sort of Evil Suns, Bad Moons level. Again, just don't punish people. If someone's been all about the snake bites for years, let's not punish them for wanting to use a snake bite army. Although having said that, with all this Beast Snaggas stuff coming, I think snake bites are going to be getting quite a bit of focus in this codex. So I predict big buffs for them, but hopefully all the other clans do as well. And it's just, again, a bit more balance between them. That would be nice to see. They're never going to all be, on an equal playing field. You're gonna get ones that naturally raise up to the top, as the meta shifts and things. It's gonna happen. But from day one, when you looked at it, you were like, well, snake bites are like really weak compared to like Death Skulls and Bad Moons, and that shouldn't be the case. You should look at all of them and think, oh, each one's got something to offer, and that goes for their relics and their specific stratagems as well. Let's get a bit of balance and things there, so that they've all got something fun, quirky and powerful to have. So yeah, that would be good. Another thing we need to have is something that we just need to keep, and it's this, the Saga of the Beast. This is good. I love this codex. I think it's a great codex. I really do. I think this book's got a lot to offer. But this buffed it massively in terms of power, but also in terms of fluff and options and creativity and fun. It's got so much good stuff in here, and we do not want to lose this stuff. Things like the custom jobs have been just, I love the custom jobs. The buffing up your war bosses, which were lacking a little bit in this as the 8th edition went on. They really were lacking compared to other characters and other factions. So this gave a much needed buff to war bosses and a much needed buff to big mechs as well. They're just pretty much auto includes. The stratagems in here are fantastic. There's so many good stratagems that you just have to use. There's a few standouts, things like the flying headbutt that you can deliver with your planes and suicide diving. It's so fluffy, so fun, and pretty damn powerful. Fantastic book. Really, really good book. After the abysmal disappointment that was Vigilus, it was great to see expansion codex really flesh out the orcs a lot more and give them so much more stuff to play with. And so I don't want to see it gone, because I'm excited for this new codex, don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see what new stuff we get and what new tricks we get. It's going to be cool. But I could quite happily play with these two books for many more years and not exhaust all the possibilities within these pages. So I do not want to see it disappear, GW. Please, keep this stuff. In fact, I would go a bit further to say roll it into the new codex, but some of the things make them a bit more standardised. So in the way that the stratagems buff the warboss, I think we just need that as a standard. That buffed up warboss, he should be the standard template for a warboss. And I think there's quite a strong possibility of that happening. I would argue the same for the big mech as well. I think it makes them a very viable, quite powerful HQ character within the army, and able to go toe to toe with things like Space Marine commanders and the like. Because the standard warboss, he's a bit squishy, and the standard big mech he's not really, too tough. So yeah, I think those things would be great. The custom jobs, please keep them, because they're so much fun being able to tweak and personalise our vehicles and things. So good, especially when you're running a dread mob. So yeah, I'd love to see that. Roll in the Saga of the Beast stuff. Don't lose. I mean, don't lose it. It's too good to lose. It's too good to go away. We haven't had it long enough, and we've just come out of a pandemic that's, well, some of us have. We haven't had a chance to use a lot of this. Some people have had this book and not been able to get a game in at all, and that would be really sad if they never got to try this stuff out. That would be really, really sad. New characters. GW have, over the years, as the codexes have got on, our list of named characters has diminished and continued to diminish, and they're just dropping like flies, quite frankly, and it's not good enough. We're running out of them. And so, I mean, I would argue as well, pure wish listing, because I don't think it's going to happen, at least anytime soon, is the return of some old classic characters. That would be great to see. But I'd love to see some new characters as well. And I think possibly this new bone boss that we've seen within the Beast Snaggas reveals and things, he could just be a standard Beast Snagga warboss. But I think it would be very interesting if he was a named character. That would be quite cool. Because, it's not all about Gazzy. Gazzy's cool and all, but we'd like a bit of variety. We'd like some other characters to focus in on some different characteristics of the Ork and read some new stories and things about new characters. That would be really cool. Whether or not that will happen or not, I don't know. Perhaps even this weird boy that we see on this chariot thing that we saw in the artwork being pulled by the beast, and it looks like it's got like a weird boy tower on it with a weird boy at the top. Perhaps even there's an option within that kit to have him as like a named weird boy character. It would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Either a returning character or a brand new character. But yeah, well, there you go, guys. I think that pretty much covers it for my wish listing. I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and wax lyrical about all the stuff I want to see in the codex. But like I said, it would be an hours and hours long video. So I just thought I'd cover some of my sort of top thoughts that have been flying around this big bald head of mine and share them with you. So what do you think of my ideas and my wish listing for the new 9th edition Ork Codex? Do you think they're all crap? If so, tell me in the comment section below. Tell me why. If you think they're great, also tell me why. And if you've got some ideas of your own, please share them. And yeah. Oh, hang on. One more. Looted wagons. Looted wagons. It's never going to happen, but it's a wish list video, so looted wagons. But yeah, anyway, guys, there we go. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out the Patreon, check out all the links below for Discords and Facebook groups and everything else besides. And for now, until the next one, this is 6+ Stevo, signing out. So yeah, cheaper grots, I think, is a ooh. Right, are we done coughing now? Good. Then I shall continue.